So these guys right here, this is the best Air Jordan game shoe we've had since the Air Jordan 29. Yo, what's good guys? It's Chris from WearTesters.com. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got the performance review on these bad boys right here. This is the Air Jordan 34. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now before we get into all the goodies that makes up the Air Jordan 34, what we're gonna do is talk about the things that I dislike. Now, one of the key features of the shoe that I actually do like is the way that they're constructed. However, there is one downside, and what I mean by that is this heel counter right here is actually one whole piece. So it goes in there and then the rest of the shoe is built around that portion of the sneaker. It's a very unique way of constructing a basketball shoe. And again, I really like the way that it's constructed and I like the way that this feels and performs. However, this side right here, this is the right shoe. For whatever reason, right in here where it starts to kind of like poke out, it always jams underneath the ankle bone of my foot. That could just be me. It could just be my foot, could be my right foot only and all that stuff, because my left shoe and my left side doesn't have that same issue. So I don't know really what the deal is. All I know is that every time I put these on, the right shoe for me, I could feel that pressing underneath my ankle area, like underneath my ankle bone. I have not had any real issues with it playing wise. Once it breaks in, the only downside is that I gotta break it in like every time. It goes away in about like 10-15 minutes once running around on the floor and everything. Again, the left shoe, no issues, but the only downside is don't wear no ankle socks with these. When we were at the unveil or whatever and we were in Beaverton, they outfit you with everything, which is great. And by they, I mean Jordan brand. So you got a little locker, you got all your gear, all that stuff, but with the gear, they give you these Jordan brand socks. Most of you guys know I really don't like Jordan brand socks. They don't fit me right. They don't perform well. I always get blisters in them. So what I opted to do was wear the socks that I was already wearing, which were unfortunately no-shows. Now again, I'd rather wear those no-shows with these any day of the week compared to Jordan brand socks, but what I would personally go with is some quarter cuts or crew socks and all that stuff, and you won't have any chafing issues with this rubbing your skin. The second thing are these eyelet areas right here. They're all kind of like these weird fly wire style strands. Now this area is great because it allows for speed lacing. The downside is that as soon as you pull this, it kind of like gives way and everything, so it goes back to almost its original shape. And I like to tie my laces up super tight, so what would have been nice is on the tips right here, if they would have put those little rubber style things that were featured on the Adidas Dame 4. Those things a lot of people didn't like because it made it a little hard to like lace your laces up, but once you did lace them up, they were stuck there. That kind of rubbery grip is what kept the laces in place. I wish that that was on here, just because every time I would tighten them up, I'd basically have to hold this rung right here until I go and tie the rest of the shoe up. This is a very small nitpick, I understand that, but it is just one of the things that I wish was a little bit different and I would have liked to have seen change. But once you're tied in there, you are good to go. I absolutely love the way that these fit, man. These are awesome. Now the traction on the shoe right here is just really, really awesome. It reminds me a lot of the Air Jordan 29 when that first time that you take them out on court, they don't feel like they got a lot of bite or a lot of grip. It's like a sneaky bite and all that stuff on the floor. So it's really interesting, especially with the way that it looks. It's so aggressive. You got that herringbone kind of fanning out, almost like the Air Jordan 4. It was the very first Air Jordan model to feature herringbone traction. So this is a slight callback to that. They also implemented it in that multiple direction fanning out area, again much like the Air Jordan 4. And what I like to call this stuff right here, besides just herringbone and beastly, this right here looked like it was made for Kemba Walker, man. That dude's got a mean ass step back, and that's what this looks like. Like it's just made for somebody that's gonna do a little fakey, a hezzy move and all that stuff, and then pop right back into their shot, or maybe just explode to the rim. Maybe you got some Euro steps in your bag, I don't really know. All I know is that this stuff was awesome inside. It's been great outside. I haven't had any issues with durability as well, and if dust is like super abundant in the gyms, all I got to do is do a quick wipe and I'm pretty much good to go. This is one of my favorite shoes to play in. For anybody wondering, it's still a toss-up between the Curry 6, these guys right here, and then the Nike Kobe AD NXT Fast Fit. We got to have them come up with some better, like with the names. The names are ridiculous. But what I really like about these guys is that they are true to size. The lockdown, like I was saying, if I had those rubbery things on here, I think it would have been just a slight bit better than what they actually are. But once you get adjusted to these, I think that you're going to be just fine. Wide footers, you might be able to go true to size as well, because if you guys see that when I like tie these up, you can see it bowing right here. So there is a little bit of dead space in that section. Not enough to where it's going to bother me, but just enough to where I think if you have a slightly wider foot in the forefoot that you should be able to fill up that negative space. So these guys right here, again, kind of like a callback to the way that they used to make shoes as far as traction is concerned. Just really great grip. And you're going to be able to do pretty much anything that you want to do on the floor, no problem, no questions asked. So I was just informed that if I move too much, it's going to cause the mic to do a bit of a jostling sound. So I'm going to try not to do anything like crazy, but not that I'm doing anything crazy outside anyways. This is something a lot of people don't like to do. A lot of people like to practice gain speed. I'm the actual opposite of that. I like to practice everything super slow, and that for me helps me out with muscle memory. So if I'm doing like behind the back stuff, I'll do it super slow, and for me that's a muscle memory trick for my personal brain, and that works well for me. Yo, I'm telling you, this is some different type of unlock right here. They call this just Zoom Air. They didn't specify that it was unlock zoom, even though it is. The way that it's situated is that the Zoom Air sits underneath the foam midsole. You can see it poking out right through that TPU chassis or that P-Bax plate. And then it's also open in the forefoot section right there where that little black thing is. And if that black thing was not there, when you do put all of that force and pressure on, like say you're changing direction, quick stop, a step back, whatever it is, if that thing wasn't there, the bag would collapse to the point to where you might roll over and cause some instability. So I'm glad that that thing's there. It's there for a purpose, not just to look cool. And then again, the Zoom Air is underneath all of that stuff. So because it's all open in the backside, I think that that's what it's really doing. When you put all that pressure down, it's really like compressing and then able to really spring back into place to the point to where it feels like you have this snapping action. So when you're putting down all that pressure and then you move again, it feels like you're being propelled forward. This is the zoomiest Zoom Air that I've ever felt. This right here, like the Alpha Dunk, unfortunately released at the wrong time, man, because those things feel nothing like these. These are incredible. Now there is heel cushion in the shoe. We got another hex unit right there in the back. It's encased within the Phylon, but it's a super large volume unit. So if you happen to crash on your heel right there, you can actually feel it, which I like. I was unable to feel it in the 33, but I'm able to feel it right here in the 34s. And then we have that rounded edge to the back of the shoe. And what that rounded heel area does is add for mobility and transition. So if you happen to do a heel strike, but when you are hitting on that thing, and what I like to do is use that as more of a break. But if you happen to strike with your heel, you're going to be able to flow right back into your stripe. Now the materials are pretty basic as far as exterior looks are concerned. A lot of the performance materials are underneath those layers, which is really cool because you can't see them, but they are there, they work. And then this is the lightest Air Jordan, I believe. And most of that lightweight aspect is due to the materials and the construction of the shoe. Now the main body and everything is made out of this screen mesh. Some shoes are gonna have this material, some are gonna have ripstop, some are gonna have a different material altogether. But this guy right here has the screen mesh. This is my favorite so far, both looks wise and what I like on court. And then in the forefoot section right here, up to the front, that's when all of the performance materials are put in place, including a woven layer underneath the forefoot. And that woven layer is like a basket weave. And so a basket weave is kind of like interwoven like this. That way, like it's like throughout, and the more pressure that you put on that, the tighter that weave gets. And that's not going to make much of a difference while you're in linear motion, but as soon as you go to stop right here, this right there is going to be catching you. And I think that that's really important, and I'm glad that that material is under there, because I don't think this screen mesh right here would be anywhere near strong enough to be able to cater to these types of moves. And then on top of that, you got some fuse areas right here just for some overlay additional support in this material right there. You can see where my foot is kind of like pushing this out, so if that wasn't there, you'd risk this kind of like screen right there being ripped. And that is one last critique that I have on the shoe, is that some of the areas of the sneaker I do wish had kind of like a beefier feel, and that is right in this little section right here. So this area right there, it's very thin. It's basically fused in that screen, nothing else really right here. It's then attaches to the counter. Again, the performance woven is underneath this section, but it's this little spot right there where every once in a while I'd kind of get caught on my heels on like the defensive end, not on the offensive end, but I get caught on my heels defensively, and I would just feel that material kind of like move, and it didn't give me as much confidence as I get out of the shoe while I'm in offensive motion. Now the support is pretty much the last aspect of the shoe, and it's one of the best aspects minus that one small area of the material build. And again, that heel portion of the shoe is one continuous piece, so it goes all the way down here and it really cups that area. I actually can't feel it right now, so I guess I broke it in enough today, but normally when I'm just kind of like standing idle and I'm not playing, I can feel it kind of dig in like I was saying earlier, but right now I can't, so maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it just took 2 weeks, I don't know. But this section of the shoe is super strong, which I love, and then everything is built on this TPU or P-Bax chassis right there. And while it looks super stiff, it actually has just enough give to it to where when you are in motion, you're able to kind of do everything, get all of your moves down, and move into your stride. And then it extends into the forefoot just enough to provide that outrigger section, but not enough to where it restricts a lot of motion. So that pretty much takes care of everything for the performance review on the Air Jordan 34. Again, I absolutely love these. I think it's the best shoe that they've done as far as the game shoe or the flagship shoe since the Air Jordan 29. I'm not knocking the Air Jordan 32 and all that stuff. I know that that was a great shoe as well, but it was very stiff and very rigid. This is one of those shoes that doesn't feel like that, even though it has those stiff and rigid aspects to them because of the plate. But all that plate is doing is really giving you that torsional support without restricting a lot of the movement, which is something that the 32 actually kind of like lacked. But I absolutely love these. I hope that you do as well whenever you guys get a chance to actually try them out. When you do, please let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think about them. Is this your favorite Jordan 6 to 29 as well? Or maybe you like the 33, maybe it was the 31. Traction on those were busted, but everything else on that shoe was awesome. But sound off below, let us know. I look forward to talking to you guys more in our exclusive WearTesters Discord community. So anything that I did not potentially answer, like any questions that you guys might have had that were not answered in this video, go ahead and shoot me a message over there and I will get right back to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. Thank you to Jordan Brand for sending these our way, by the way. We greatly appreciate it. If you need any more performance information, hit the link in the description box. It'll take you over to WearTesters.com where you can see their price, their weight, and their scores. And with that being said, guys, I hope that y'all have a great day.